Captain Lee Dong-min stared out the window of his spaceship. Stars filled the dark space around them. After 6 months of traveling, they had finally reached the edge of known space. His team was the first group of humans to go this far from Earth. "Captain, we're getting something strange on our sensors," said Dr. Park Hye-jin from her seat. She was the ship's science officer and the smartest person Lee had ever met. Lee walked over to look at her screen. "What kind of strange?" "There's a huge object ahead. It's bigger than our largest cities. And it's moving toward us." Commander Kim Tae-ho, Lee's second-in-command, checked his weapons systems. "Should we be worried?" Before Lee could answer, their radio came to life. A voice spoke in perfect English, though it sounded musical and strange. "Human vessel, we greet you in peace. We have waited many years for this meeting. Will you accept our invitation to come aboard?" The three humans looked at each other. Ambassador Choi Soo-bin, who was sleeping in her room, came running to the bridge. "Did I just hear aliens talking to us?" Lee nodded slowly. "Yes, you did." The alien voice spoke. Again. "We know you may be afraid. We mean no harm. We are the Velthari. We have much to tell you about your people." Engineer Yoon Ji-woo looked up from her control panel. "Captain, their ship is incredible. I've never seen technology like this. It's like they're bending space itself." Lee made his decision. "This is Captain Lee Dong-min of Earthship Taeguk Dawn. We accept your invitation." An hour later, the human team found themselves inside the alien ship. The walls glowed with soft light that seemed to come from the material itself. Everything was smooth and curved, like the inside of a giant crystal. The Velthari who met them were tall and thin. Their skin was clear like glass, and colors moved under it like slow lightning. When they walked, they seemed to float rather than step. "I am Elder Kesara," said the leader. Her voice echoed in their minds as well as their ears. "I have lived for 3,000 of your years waiting for this day." Dr. Park studied the aliens with wide eyes. "Your biology is fascinating. How do you communicate telepathically?" "That is one of many things we will explain," Elder Kesara said. "But first, we must share a truth that will shock you." They were led to a large room with a dome ceiling that showed moving pictures of stars and planets. Other Velthari gathered around them, their skin colors shifting as they whispered to each other. Elder Kesara raised her hand, and the room became quiet. "Humans of Earth, what I am about to tell you may seem impossible. But it is true. You are not originally from your world. You are our children, lost to us long ago." Ambassador Choi laughed nervously. "That's impossible. Humans evolved on Earth. We have proof." "You evolved on Earth, yes," said Elder Kesara. "But your ancestors came from the stars, they came from us." A young Velthari named Nethvin stepped forward. He held a crystal device that projected images into the air. "I discovered the truth while studying old records. Look at these genetic patterns." The images showed DNA structures that looked almost identical to human DNA, but with small differences. Dr. Park gasped. "These genetic markers. We found some of these in ancient human bones, but we thought they were mutations." "They are not mutations," Elder Kesara said. "They are proof of your true heritage. 50,000 years ago, a group of our people left our worlds. They believed our society had become too dependent on technology. They wanted to live simpler lives, using their bodies and minds instead of machines." The room filled with more images. They showed Velthari who looked more solid, less crystal-like. These ancient Velthari had ships and tools, but they were simpler than what the humans saw around them now. "We called them the Velnati, those who choose flesh over crystal. They were exiled for their beliefs. Their ship was damaged in a great storm of space. It crashed on a world in a distant part of the galaxy." Commander Kim leaned forward. "Earth?" "Yes. Over thousands of years they changed. They lost their telepathic abilities. Their crystal-like features became flesh and bone. They became what you call human." Engineer Yoon shook her head. "But why tell us this now? Why after all this time?" Elder Kesara's skin turned darker, showing her sadness. Because we need your help, and perhaps you need ours. The dome above them changed to show dark spaces between stars. In those spaces, something moved, something that seemed to eat light itself. There is a great danger coming, Elder Kessara said, an enemy that devours worlds and minds. We have grown too peaceful, too set in our ways, we cannot fight them effectively. But you humans, you have kept something we lost long ago. What's that? Lee asked. The ability to adapt, to find new solutions when old ones fail, to think in ways that surprise even yourselves. Dr. Park looked at the images of the dark enemy. You want us to help you fight? We want to offer you a choice, Elder Kessara said. We can awaken the Velthari, abilities sleeping in your genes. We can give you technology beyond your dreams. We can welcome you back into the galactic family. And if we refuse? Ambassador Choi asked. Elder Kessara's skin flickered with uncertain colors. Then both our species may not survive what is coming. The humans looked at each other. In 6 months of space travel, they had hoped to make contact with aliens. They never expected to discover they were aliens themselves. Captain Lee stood up. We need time to think about this. Of course, Elder Kessara said. But know this. The enemy approaches faster than we hoped. You may not have as much time as you wish. As the humans were led to guest quarters, each of them wondered the same thing. What did it mean to be human if humans weren't really from Earth at all? 3 days passed on the Velthari ship. The human team talked for hours about what they had learned. Captain Lee Dong-min could not sleep well. The idea that humans were not from Earth felt impossible, but the proof was hard to ignore. Dr. Park. Hee-jin spent most of her time studying Velthari technology. Their computers think like living brains, she told the others. But they all think the same way. There's no creativity, no surprise ideas. That's exactly the problem, said a voice behind them. They turned to see Nethvin, the young Velthari scientist. His skin was bright blue with worry. May I speak with you? Commander Kim Tae-ho nodded. What's wrong? Many of our council members think you humans are too dangerous, Nethvin said. They remember why the Velnathi were exiled. They fear you will bring chaos to our peaceful society. Ambassador Choi Soo-bin frowned. We came here in peace. We haven't threatened anyone. I know, Nethvin said, but they want to test you, to see if you are worthy of rejoining our people. Before anyone could ask what kind of test, alarms began ringing throughout the ship. Elder Kessara's voice echoed in their minds. All beings to safety positions. The enemy has arrived earlier than expected. The humans rushed to the main viewing room. Through the crystal walls they could see space filled with dark shapes. The enemy ships looked like holes cut out of reality itself. Where they moved, stars seemed to dim and die. The Devourers, Elder Kessara said as she joined them. They consume everything, matter, energy, even thoughts and memories. Lee watched as Velthari ships moved to fight the invaders. The alien vessels were beautiful and graceful, but their attacks seemed weak and predictable. The dark enemy ships dodged easily and struck back with terrible force. Your people are losing, Engineer, Yoon Ji-woo said. Yes, Elder Kessara admitted. We have become too set in our ways. Our tactics are ancient and unchanging. The Devourers learn to counter them quickly. Dr. Park suddenly grabbed Lee's arm. Captain, I'm getting strange readings from our crew. Lee looked at his team. Ambassador Choi was holding her head, looking confused. I can hear whispers, she said. Voices in my mind that aren't mine. Yoon was staring at a Velthari control panel. I understand how this works, she said in wonder. I shouldn't, but I do. The awakening has begun, Elder Kessara said. Your Velthari heritage is surfacing under stress. Commander Kim felt different too. Strategic ideas were flowing through his mind, battle plans he had never learned but somehow knew. This is what you wanted, isn't it? For us to become like you? It is what some of us wanted, Elder Kessara said sadly. But perhaps it is wrong. Another explosion rocked the ship. More Velthari vessels were falling to the dark enemy. Lee made a decision that surprised everyone, including himself. "No," he said firmly. "We won't become Velthari. We'll stay human." "But then, how can you help us?" Elder Kessera asked. Lee smiled. "By being exactly what we are, unpredictable humans." He turned to his team. "Kim, you said you're getting new battle strategies. Don't use them. Use human tactics instead. Yoon, ignore what the Velthari technology is telling you. Make it work the way a human engineer would." Commander Kim understood immediately. Chaos tactics, random attacks make no sense to a logical enemy. "Exactly," Lee said. He spoke to Elder Kessera. "Give us control of some of your ships. Let us fight like humans, not like Velthari." Elder Kessera hesitated. "That goes against everything we know about warfare." "Good," Dr. Park said, understanding the plan. "The Devourers have learned to fight logical enemies. They've never fought illogical ones." Within minutes, Lee and his team were controlling Velthari ships from the command center. But instead of using the aliens' careful, planned attacks, they fought like humans. Kim ordered ships to attack in random patterns. Yoon overloaded weapon systems in ways that should have been dangerous, but created powerful surprise attacks. Choi used the ship's communication systems to confuse the enemy with false signals and noise. The Devourers, who had been winning easily, suddenly found themselves fighting an enemy that made no sense. Their hive mind, which could predict logical attacks, could not understand human randomness. "It's working," Nethvin shouted. "The enemy is retreating." The dark ships pulled back, confused and damaged. They had never faced an enemy that fought with creative chaos instead of organized logic. As the battle ended, Elder Kessera looked at the humans with new respect. "You saved us by refusing to become us." Lee nodded. "We're your children, but we're not your copies. Our exile made us different. Maybe that difference is what the galaxy needs." The Velnathi were not rebels, Dr. Park realized. They were evolution. They became what the Velthari needed to survive. Elder Kessera's skin glowed with warm colors. Perhaps the exile was not punishment, but preparation. You have become what we could not: unpredictable, adaptive, creative. Ambassador Choi smiled. "So what happens now?" "Now we learn from each other," Elder Kessera said. "You remain human, but you also become our partners in protecting the galaxy. We will teach you what we know, and you will teach us to think in new ways." Captain Lee looked out at the stars. Humanity had left Earth looking for aliens and found family instead. But more importantly, they had learned that being different was not a weakness. It was exactly what made them strong. The journey home would be different now. They were still human, still from Earth. But they were also part of something bigger, a galaxy that needed both ancient wisdom and young chaos to survive. "Set course for Earth," Lee commanded. "We have quite a story to tell." As their ship began the long journey home, the humans knew they were no longer alone in the universe. They had found their place among the stars, not as lost children returning home, but as partners in a new kind of galactic family.